Hello again, Anna Schmidt here, house healer, psychic development teacher and spirit clearer, and today we're going to talk Ouija boards. People want to know, are they dangerous? Can I use them safely? Well, we're going to discuss a few of my experiences with Ouija boards today and some of the things that I deal with as a house healer with people who have used them in the past. So if you like what I talk about today, please feel free to subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a like, leave me a comment. So let's get into it. The topic of Ouija boards, are they dangerous? Now, Ouija boards are a divination tool like any other divination tool. So they are similar, but they are also different. And I find it difficult to explain exactly why they are different. I just know through my personal experiences with them, my work as a house healer, people who have used them and ended up with very, very strong mental health issues that may have been underlying to start with. We'll talk about that later. But Ouija boards are a curiosity for people because they want to know who is on the other side. Now, to talk to grandma or your dad or your mum or your pet that's passed away, you don't need to use one of these boards. Light beings, you ask your grandma, your dad, your mum to come and talk to you, you're feeling lonely, you miss them, they'll come to you in your dreams. You'll feel like you're being hugged one day. You're looking at their photos and you just feel like they're communicating to you through the photos. Now, Ouija boards open a doorway. They literally are a doorway to an unknown place. I have experienced this myself and I will tell you about this later. This was in my early days and I was very much younger and very much sillier. So when you open these, you are with intention opening a doorway to an unknown place. Now, as you know, the people that watch my channel all the time, I talk a lot about the heavier energies, the dark energies, the malevolent energies. They are just as relevant as the light beings. It's the balance, the balance. The universe has to have the balance. So there is the light and the dark. Now, these darker beings will lurk on the other side of these doorways. House healers, we call them portals. So when you're opening a Ouija board, you're actually opening a vortex or a portal to an unknown place. It's like walking into a pub and you don't know anybody and all of a sudden you've got all these strange people looking at you and you're not quite sure about their intentions. It's exactly the same thing. You open these doorways and then you've got these beings that know we're big suckers for moving the glass, moving the planchette around on the board. Oh, we're getting all excited because they're talking to someone. Light beings, spirit guides, angels, archangels, relatives, pets do not need to use these boards to communicate with you. You are communicating with a darker being. Now, darker beings have many, many, many different levels of malevolence. They're not all demons. They're all got different layers of activity, and I'll talk about that one day in another video. So with Ouija boards, you're opening that doorway, and then what do you do with it? You are asking or invoking an energy to come forward to talk to you. So you're inviting an energy into the space where you are and where other people are. Now, these energies love people who have trauma, who have mental health issues, who have addictions, who are vulnerable in one way or another because they feed off our emotional energy and our mental energy. By you inviting them into the space, you're actually asking them to stand in the middle of the circle and go, okay, who's the victim? Who am I going to attach to? Because this does happen. Some people use Ouija boards and they're fine because they've got a strong constitution, a strong immune system, a strong mind, strong body, a closed energy field. When your energy field is open, you've got holes, rips, tears, this is when these energies get in. I find this through my energy field assessments that I do with people, is that when there's holes there, they come in. They can sit in your chakras, they can sit in your meridian lines, they can sit in your mind and play games with you. And you'll find that your behaviours change, your sleeping patterns change, your eating patterns change, the way you interact with your partner. All these things change when these energies get in your space. Now, generally, they're not going to kill you. I'm just going to say it. They're not killers. 99% of them aren't interested in killing you because you are a food source. I'm just going to say it. It's exactly what it is. We are an energetic, emotional food source for dark energy. So if you don't want them to be hanging around, don't use these devices. Don't invoke them into your space because they are going to feed off your emotions. So 4 people might sit around and use a Ouija board. There might only be one person that's affected by it there and then. They might get a sudden headache. They might feel sick. They might get a bit wobbly or a bit dizzy, or their eyes might glaze over. I had this happen recently when I was doing a house healing. This is sort of related, so I'm going to go there. I was at someone's home actually doing a house healing on a nearby property. The person's son was close to me. He was curious. He was like, "Oh, what are you doing, Anna? Can I watch?" And I was like, "No, I don't think it's appropriate." And Mum said, "Oh, possibly we'll think about it." He started to feel sick. His eyes started to glaze over. His stomach was feeling unwell. Mum grabbed him. Off they went and did something in another room while I did the work. In some way, he was open and vulnerable to these energies. Just by the curiosity of them, you can attract these things. So you don't go looking for them. I don't go looking for them, but they are part of the work I do as a house healer. And when I clear people's energy fields of paranormal, geopathic, limiting beliefs, all sorts of things that can hide in people's energy fields. So some examples. When I was younger, I thought, I'm going to make one of these boards and I'm going to have it in my house and I'm going to hide it from the family. So by pure intention, I created one of these boards in a way that I could disguise it. So no one was home one day, so I thought, oh yeah, I'll just get it out and have a play with it. I wrote on this piece of board that I had. The phone rang, and in those days the phones were on the wall, so that tells you how long ago this was. I went to answer the phone. When I came back, the centre of the board was hot. Now, it was sitting on an ironing board in my bedroom. There was no iron turned on, the sun wasn't shining on it. I literally put my hand on top and could feel the heat coming off this board. I felt instantly sick. I went, what have I done? I have opened a doorway. So instead of closing this doorway, as you would think you would do, is to ask the guides, angels, archangels to please be present now, and we close this portal and seal it forever. I didn't. I literally wiped everything off the board and hid the board away, and then I left the room in a bit of a panic. Now, in the ensuing days, there was something that had moved into the walls of my home. It wasn't there before I opened this board, and I didn't go looking for it. I didn't create this thing in my mind going, ooh, there's going to be something there, because I'm a very grounded, very sort of centered person. I'm like, wipe it, put it away, it's not a problem. This thing would bang on the wall behind my head where I slept. There would be the 3 knocks. As we all know, they love to mock the Trinity. So there'd be the 3 knocks. It would bang around in the ceiling and I could just feel its presence. It moved into a room of our house and would stand in a certain place, and people would go, oh God, it feels really cold there. And I'm going, what am I going to do about this? In those days, I didn't know how to get rid of these things. I was just very young, early 20s, did something really stupid with this. And I'm like, I need to get rid of this. So I met a lady, just by chance, the universe sent her to me to go, I can help you. So I watched what she did. And I was like, okay, I can learn to do this as well. So it was a learning experience for me. And I can share it with you now. This thing didn't get into my head. I must have been fully aurically closed at that time, but it messed with the house. It messed with the electrics. Things were breaking. The back door kept getting left open, which was really unusual because I would lock the back door, then it would be open. And I'm like, what am I going to do? So I met this lady. She showed me how to clear this energy. Bam, gone. Never used these boards since. I have been in the room when other people have used them. But I'm like, no, I need to leave now because we don't want these things attaching to us. Remember, if we've got trauma or if we've got a medical condition where we're using prescribed medications that's weakening our immune system, our energy field, these energies, can sometimes get into our space and they will just feed off whatever trauma and emotions you've got built up in your energy field. Now, I have done house healing jobs where people have moved home. The energies that get in your space are going to follow you wherever you go. There was a lady once I did a job for. She moved her whole house from the north of the state to the south of the state, thinking, oh, we'll get away and we'll have a fresh start. No, this thing, like I said, was embedded into the fabric of the building. They just get all comfy like, oh, I'm just going to travel. I'm just going to go wherever these people go and pester them. So what I do as a house healer and a spirit clearer is I will tune into these energies and I will find out how they're attached to the person or the building or the land. Sometimes there's always a reason why they're there. And sometimes you've got to go through multiple layers. It can take hours and hours and hours of work to find out what they're connected to. And while I'm doing this work, they're pestering me. They will get in my space because they think they can hurt me or they can make me fearful of them. And I'm like, nah, bugger off, not interested. And you'll have them standing here going, blah, 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 and they're gnashing teeth and the horrible images in my mind. And I'm like, no, doesn't work. Doesn't work, doesn't work. So I've built up a resistance through understanding how these things work. But management is saying to me to remind people, don't go looking for them. Don't talk about possession. Don't go through satanic rituals and dark magic that leads you down satanic paths. Because once you invoke these things, they are very hard to get rid of. Very, very hard to get rid of. Even for people like me, they can pester me for days. They ruin my sleep. They affect my motor skills, trying to upset me so I'll get all fearful and won't shift them on. But I'm a pretty sturdy old gal now. So I am been working in this field for a very long time. I've been training since childhood, I think. It's been a very long time I've been dealing with these things. So just don't go there. Don't go there. Don't need to. There's no reason to go looking for these things because there's not just one or two of them. Don't just think you've got one that's coming into your home. They travel in groups. They're like a bunch of bullies. You never see a bully by itself. It's always got its henchmen in the background. This is how these things work. And when I clear them, there's days, sometimes weeks of the entourage of the revenge that comes from their fellow comrades. That's what we'll call them. So they will come looking for me because they're pissed that I've shifted them. So you don't want to mess with this stuff. Okay, seriously, it is just something, if you want a happy life, you stay away from your Ouija boards, stay away from invoking dark energies. Because people do it. They think it's fun. It is not fun. It is not cool. It is not a party trick. These things are real. So if you're rolling your eyes and going, yeah, she's talking a whole heap of rubbish, that's fine. That's your belief system. But I know these things are real. Deal with them every day. So I hope you found this interesting and insightful and informative. I'll be doing lots more talking about dark energies. I talk about it to educate people. That is my purpose with this. And I educate people through my own experiences and through sharing little snippets of the information I have from work that I do as a house healer and a spirit clearer of people's energy fields. So thank you for watching today. Please feel free to subscribe. Let me a comment. Let me know what you think about what I do. I'd really love to hear from you. And I'll see you again soon with another video. Bye.